I'm an animal trainer, and I want to tell you a little bit about my family to begin with. I'm a single mother of three, ages 3, 5, and 6. My 3-year-old daughter, Reagan, and the 5 and 6-year-old are actually 2 pugs, so they're kind of hairy. And my 2 pugs, so I want to tell you a little bit about them. My 1 pug is named Willie. He's super cute. He has a nose about that long and a tongue about that long. So we like to say he has like the humunga tongue is kind of what it looks like. And it's like that New Year's Eve party blower kind of tongue. It's pretty incredible. So that's his hidden talent. And Willie is a pet partner. So we like to take him into hospitals and we do our visitation. And so that's something that I do with him. My other pug is named Bruce, and we like to call him Meathead. He's kind of like that football player type of guy. You just know that would be who he would be if he was a human. And Bruce's hidden talent is he snores like crazy, and it's so loud that literally he will be in another room, I'll have a pillow over my head, and I can still hear him. He snores in and out so hard that the doors and the windows seem like they're opening and closing as he breathes in and out, so it's pretty amazing. Absolutely. So I tell you about my pets because I know exactly how pets are. They are our family. They are crucial to us. And so, whenever anyone in our family is experiencing fear or anxiety or any type of issue, we want to give them all the help that we possibly can. And so that's why I really believe in products, especially the Thundershirt, on being able to relieve pet anxiety and fear. Now, this is a huge issue. A lot of people don't even realize how big fear is. There are a couple studies that I want to tell you about that are just recent ones that illustrate this a little bit. So in one recent study, they showed that only 30% of people that were non-professional workers with animals were able to recognize fear in animals. So that is pretty crazy. So we aren't recognizing fear. And of that, a huge portion were able to recognize a happy dog. But we don't always have the skills and the knowledge to be able to recognize when our pet is in fear. And along with that, there was a study just recently out of the University of Bristol that showed that in the whole study, 50% of all the dogs had noise anxiety. And of that 50%, only 25% were owner recognized. So half of them weren't even recognized as having fear with this. And even worse, of the half of the dogs that were recognized as having fear, only a third of them were given any type of professional help. So really our animals are suffering in silence, dogs and cats, with these fear issues. And so I don't know if any of you have ever experienced fear. I'm guessing you probably have if you've ever been pulled over. You see the lights behind your car, and you're like, oh no, and you just get that feeling in your stomach. Or perhaps it's a crazy ex-mother-in-law. You see at the store and you get that feeling of, oh no. So I think all of us have had those experiences. And I work as an animal trainer in the veterinary hospital with my father, Dr. Marty Becker, and we both are, one of our biggest things we are so passionate about is the fear-free practice. And so 80% of pet owners say that their dog or cat has anxiety when they go to the veterinarian. So this is a really far-reaching issue that people can really relate to and they see in their animals. And so that's one place that we really are trying to work with our animals on decreasing their fear. And I work with clients every single day on different behavior issues. And as we all know, one of the major reasons that pets are sort of to shelters is because of behavior issues. But the problem is people see the symptoms of it. Oh, my dog lunges and barks on leash. But they don't realize that really there's a root cause of fear and anxiety in that pet. And you can't just stop and stifle the symptom without going to the root cause. So that's really where it's so essential to treat pet anxiety and fear in order to keep our pets in the home and also to build our bond with them. And so in decreasing the animal's fear, what we do is we let them have just that joy that they naturally should have that really lets their real personality shine. Because when an animal's in fear, they're stifled. They can't really be themselves. So they're always waiting for something bad to happen. And what we really want to do through training and through their experience is teach them, good things happen. Life is good. Life is good. You don't have to be afraid all the time. And so that's why I'm so passionate about anything on building a fear-free practice, a fear-free pet in the home, in the shelter, in the veterinary office. Now the Thundershirt, I'm sure you've seen this, it's been around for dogs and it's such a great product. So this is my daughter Reagan I was telling you about, what I did with her when she was an infant, which if anyone's had kids, you probably swaddled a baby before. And there is such a huge difference. So with Reagan, when I lay her down at night, if I just put a blanket loosely over her, she would still be crying and upset because it's scary for them to be alone in a crib by themselves. But if you swaddle the baby and wrap them tightly, all of a sudden she relaxed and she was able to calm down and go to sleep because she felt safe. And so this works likely in a very similar way. And so have any of you heard of Dr. Temple Grandin? Yes. And so she's great, but she is one of the ladies that really brought our attention to the use of pressure and the pressure hug. And so for people with autism, this is one way that they can relieve persistent anxiety. And so you see this working in a lot of different areas. And even my dad and I are both big huggers. We both love to hug. And so, you know, if it's just saying hi, or if it's, you know, a lot of times we all do this naturally. If someone's having a hard time, we go up and we hug them and hug them tightly. And so that's one of our natural ways to comfort. And so for these pets, like they're walking around, they're just being embraced and hugged tightly. So it makes them feel safe and makes them feel really secure. Now, it's not just that I say something like this works. I know it works because I see it on a daily basis, whether it's in the veterinary hospital, the shelter, or we're working with different clients and even my own pets. And so I wanted to tell you a couple of examples of different times this has had a huge effect. So one of the first dogs was named Sam. Now Sam is one of those dogs that it almost looks like you have a lion on the end of the leash when you take him out on a walk, because he is crazy. He's jumping and spinning and barking and so intense that he almost sounds like he's screaming when he sees a person or when he sees a dog. So it's pretty scary if you're the other person on the end of the leash with him. And his pet owner, you know, she loved her dog. She wanted to interact with her dog. And you know, that's one of the important things of why we have a pet, is we want to take them out, we want to enjoy life with them. But this dog she wasn't able to enjoy life with because he was so hard to get out anywhere. It was embarrassing for her and dangerous. And so what she did is she tried the Thundershirt in the store. She thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so this is a product that was recommended to her. She went in there, her dog was doing the spinning and the lunging and all that stuff on leash. As soon as she put it on, all of a sudden all 4 feet were down on the floor. He was looking at her, not so focused on the environment. And that's one thing that you'll see. There's a little beagle that's been walking around here, I think Lola, and I just met her, and her owner was saying that she is really reactive to other dogs, and so the Thundershirt has been a tool that's been helping her with that reactivity. So that's a great way that it can be used. And now it also works really well with cats. So my father, Dr. Marty Becker, over there, he went back to New York City over Christmas, and my dad was on Touring America and was presenting some different products. Well, this little kitten was brought in, and this cat was freaking out. And if you've ever been on a TV set, you know why. There are tons of cameras everywhere, people rushing around, lights, sounds. It would be overwhelming for any cat. And so even at calm cats, this cat looked like it was a bobcat in this little tiny bag. You can see it looked like it was just pounding its fist on the edge of the crate. And so we're like, oh no, this is going to be really interesting. I think my dad was thinking I would be the handler and I would get the kitty hieroglyphics all over me. So he was going to pass it off to me. But what we did, we were actually featuring the Thundershirt on the show that day as one of the top new products. So we put the Thundershirt on the cat, and immediately the cat relaxed. And I know that Phil has a lot of videos of this, but you'll just see a dramatic difference immediately. And so that's one cat that as soon as it was on, he was sitting in my dad's arms throughout the whole segment, was purring, looked like he was about to fall asleep. So that was a huge difference. Now, the Thundershirt, you know, the name is that it works really well for thunder and anything like that with noises. And so a lot of dogs are afraid of also 4th of July time, about the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after. People have these on their dogs constantly. But there are so many other ways that this can be used. So a lot of dogs are freaked out, and cats are freaked out with grooming, and especially having their toenails clipped. So this is a really great thing to help your pet relax. If your dog is stressed out when they're going on a car ride, I just talked to an owner on the way over here, and her dog is so stressed and chants and drills in the car. And that dog Sam that I was talking to you about, he also had this horrible anxiety in the car. As soon as she put that on, it was gone. So you can use it in that way as well. I use it a lot with the leash reactivity with dogs. You use it when you're taking them into the veterinary office. Is a great place to use it. Anywhere where your dog feels fear, or even for a cat, having visitors over in the home, any change for a cat can be stressful. So that's a really great way to go ahead and use that. Now, Phil mentioned that I do a lot of work in the shelters. I am very passionate about pet rescue for dogs and cats. And the shelter system is very stressful for pets. We try and do the best we can. We want to do the best we can. But it's very stressful. People going by, cats and dogs going by, and just all of this anxiety. And a lot of times, the pets already come in from a home where they were stressed out, and then they come into another situation where they're stressed out. And so, you know, we really need to break that cycle, because when a pet's stressed out, they don't show their real personality, and it's hard to get them adopted. So what we want to do is do anything we can to help that pet relax. So one of the great things about the Thundershirt is that this has an 80% success rate with dogs and cats. So that's huge. And even for those that it doesn't have a dramatic effect with, that 20%, you get your money back on that product. So it's pretty cool. I feel like there's it's a win-win. There's really no way on losing with this type of product. But with the shelters, what we do is we put that on the animal right as soon as they're brought in. So they're super anxious. You see immediately they start to relax when they get that on. So that's really, really amazing. And then you can use it throughout their stay, especially if you have an animal that's stressed out or is really anxious at the back of their cage. It's really hard for people to make that eye connection. That's what people want. They want to make the eye connection with that pet, that connection with them. But they aren't going to do that if the pet's anxious and they're looking away, they're hiding, they're doing the kennel jumping or anything like that. So that's where this tool is so great. And it also helps them transition into their new home. I want to close with one final story of a dog that had huge success, and actually his owner was just talking to me on my way down, and I wanted to share it with you. His name is Max, and he's a little Westie. Now Max has had a problem of just being anxious, anything. So it's noises outside, people walking by, dogs, anything like that. As soon as he gets anxious, he will go and spin and chase his tail with such ferocity that sometimes he'll actually bite his tail. And it was awful. She had tried all kinds of tactics with her dog. And she was also disabled, so it was hard for her to go and catch her dog to have him stop or try and redirect him to doing something else. And so what she said in her own words to me is that the change was absolutely overnight. She put this on Max, and the next day the spinning completely stopped. And so it went from spinning super anxious to, using this non-invasive, natural type of method. And her dog was so relaxed. When she was lying on the couch, she was able to actually connect with her dogs. When our dogs are anxious, our cats are anxious, it's hard for us to connect with them and get them out of that mode. So it helped her get him out of that mode so that she could do the training with him. So that was really amazing. And the really cool thing about this, which it almost brought tears to my eyes, is she said that one day she forgot to put his Thundershirt on, and she put it on every single day. Well, she forgot because he got really anxious that day. And he went and picked it up in his teeth and brought it over to her and dropped it. And so to me, it just shows that not only do we make that connection that the Thundershirt really works, but they make that connection too, that it helps relieve their anxiety, helps them to be calm. And so I just firmly believe in this product because anything that we can do to relieve our pets' anxiety is going to keep them in the home. It's going to help get more shelter pets adopted. It's going to help pets relax in the veterinary office. Because really what we want to do is help them enjoy every area of life. Just as we don't want to live in constant fear, we don't want our pets living in constant fear either. And so I'm just so grateful to work with a company that has that same message of decreasing fear and anxiety. And my dad and I both are so on board with that. And it's so great to have Thundershirt involved with that as well. So I just really appreciate everyone coming.